Let's go, off the sidewalk, keep walking towards the street, let's go.
It was just a chaotic scene, and the thing that was most frightening was just hearing the screams, the wails, like sporadically going through the air, and people calling out each other's names, frantically trying to find each other.
Good evening. It's a sight that's difficult to forget for those who were here on Queen and Peter Streets on Saturday. The scene of a homicide caused by a triple shooting that left 2 young men dead and sent 1 woman to hospital. One man also arrived to see the aftermath of the scene. He says it's left him traumatized. We do want to warn viewers that this story contains graphic details. We also want to let you know the number for victim services will be at the bottom of the screen for anyone who may need it.
And I remember hearing a police officer literally screaming at him and yelling at him. All he said was, breathe, just breathe, yelling and screaming at him. And then when they lifted him up onto in a sheet on a gurney, I remember his head lifted a bit towards me, and I remember just almost like locking eyes with him.
What goes through your mind days after?
Well, like everybody, you post on social media, and people, say, I'm sorry and everything, and you have to deal with it. But for me, it was just getting flashbacks of his eyes, seeing him on the news, and then seeing what I saw on the, in real life was a bit terrifying. It traumatized me to the point where I didn't think I needed help. I thought I could just do it on social media, but the visions of his eyes haunted me a bit. It's so traumatic for a neighborhood. It's like, where do you go? What do you do? How do you feel safe walking at night? What happens when you hear like a firecracker, or you hear a horn bump and you hear somebody like laugh loud or scream? It's always in the back of your mind that just to, look over your shoulder.
Dean Marr says he will be accessing resources available at his job, but wanted others who witness violence to know about the support available to them. Victim Services Toronto is a charitable not-for-profit organization that provides immediate 24/7 response to victims, witnesses, and their families. The Associate Executive Director says people are impacted differently by violence, but not everyone realizes that. Regardless, it can lead to devastation.
A lot of people after several days, or even just 1 day, 2 days, are starting to discover that they're not able to sleep. They can't stop thinking about it. They're reliving it over and over again. And it's starting to impact their life as they go outside.
At what point should someone seek out help?
When they start noticing it's impacting their ability to function, right? To get up out of bed, to sleep, to concentrate at work, to get to work. It's time to reach out for help.
While Victim Services works with people to connect them to services, the City of Toronto's Community Safety and Wellbeing Unit engages communities who have been affected by traumatic incidences, especially gun violence.
If you're experiencing these kind of incidents in your community, it can also impact you just having that happen in your neighborhood. And so we really urge people to talk about it, to connect with one another, support one another, and to reach out for support when they require it. No one has to suffer alone with this issue.
We've seen kind of a number of deadly weekends here in our city due to shootings and homicides. Is your organization able to keep up with that?
We have a very small team in terms of our resources here, in terms of the Community Crisis Response Program. We have 4 staff for the entire city, but the way that we're able to do our work is through partnership.
Now, Victim Services Toronto also responds to scenes, and as long as they're deemed safe by police. Most recently, they were on the ground following that horrific Toronto van attack. Now, as for this investigation here on Queen and Peter, Toronto police aren't commenting further. They won't comment also on whether or not this scene is connected to any of the other shootings that occurred in the core this long weekend. They would only say that their Guns and Gangs unit is investigating.